Action Force is bringing the fight to cancer. In honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Valaverse has enlisted the Steel Brigade to lead this fight. This new female Steel Brigade action figure, clad in pink with the iconic breast cancer ribbon adorned on her vest, is available on Valaverse.com now. Valaverse has teamed up with the Gloria Gemma Breast Cancer Resource Foundation in Rhode Island for this special item. Proceeds from the Steel Brigade action figure will be shared with the Gloria Gemma Foundation. Every Steel Brigade you purchase will help with this great cause. You too can join the Action Force for this fight. Go get your Steel Brigade trooper now and help bring the fight to cancer. It's time for action.
Shut up and sit down.
Welcome everybody to the 3POA podcast episode 77. I'm your host Laserpants, also known as Ryan. I am joined once again by my very good friend, the man behind Analog Toys, the Desert Rat himself, Tony Roberts. What's up, Tony?
Hi, mate.
How's it going?
Good to be back. Yeah. It's going very well. Good to be back again.
So hopefully everyone that's watching did notice the new intro that you put together for us. Thank you so much. It was awesome. I love all the new additions.
I actually edited both of those videos because I edited the Steel Brigade Gloria Gemma video as well.
Oh, so. Yeah, that's a great commercial. And hopefully that's doing well.
I hope so. I still haven't bought mine yet. I need to.
What? You got to get on it, man.
Shipping is a killer. Like I'm better off like placing a big order, like just trying to ship one figure or two figures. It pretty much doubles the cost of the figure. In Australian dollars, it's $45 for a Steel Brigade. So I want two, it's $90, and shipping was $90.
Holy crap!
$180 Australian for two figures.
Yeah, okay, so I don't blame you too much then.
Yeah, I'll wait until I place another big order when Series 5 comes in.
Yeah. Well, channel members, I know all of you know because I made a YouTube community post about it. Bobby couldn't be here tonight, so we had to kind of change the topic of this show kind of last minute. It was yesterday. And so it worked out great because they debuted a new Haslab yesterday, as well as some other cool stuff. So we're going to talk about that. And in Bobby's place, who better to fill in than Retroblasting himself, Michael French. What's going on?
Not much. I got a message from you this morning saying Hasbro's been doing some stuff, and I'm like, oh no. And then you were like, and Bobby can't be on 3POA, and I'm like, oh no. So all the disclaimers and liabilities that come from having me on a live stream are now officially in play. So I'm looking forward to being here tonight, and thank you for having me. It's always good to hang out with you and Tony. So
it's outside of the members only streams, it's been too long. So it's good to have you back because you are
absolutely. Yeah.
I think you were our first guest, Tony. Can you confirm that? I think I think it was like episode 4.
Don't remember, but most probably, yeah.
Yeah, you drink too much, Tony.
I do. and look, considering. Go ahead.
I do love House Hendo's comment. Our favorite MF. Yeah. I support that message.
House Hendo.
Considering we're talking about Ghostbusters tonight, and Ryan hasn't even seen the movie.
True.
Better get someone in who knows what the hell they're talking about.
It's very true. You mean, when I first saw it, it was before I knew Bobby couldn't be here, and we had a totally different topic planned.
But I wasn't up for it. I couldn't make the cut for that one.
No. Well, the other topic was it's Bobby's specialty. He has to be here for it.
Right.
He's the one with the insider info and stuff.
Yep.
So,
yep.
I didn't even care to talk about the Ecto-1 Haslab. I'm not interested. I'm not getting it. But whatever. But not that I haven't talked about Haslabs that I don't care about before. But yeah,
my hypocrisy only goes so far.
That's right. Kandagawa Jet Girls team manager.
That's right. I
like it.
The moe and the camel toe is strong tonight.
Tony, I'm not even going to read yours. We do have a few super chats we can get to before we get into it. We are going to start with the Ecto-1, by the way, and then we've got some other stuff. That it all was kind of like revealed at New York Comic-Con, which is going on right now in New York. That's where they have it. That's where they have New York Comic-Con. Dominic Lindsay, thanks for the super chat, man. He says, I know I'm early, but I cannot wait for LP and crew to talk about the New York Comic-Con panels. Also, welcome back, Michael. Another thing, thanks. Ryan, Sydney Sweeney, and Dr. Sasquatch commercials. Yes, please. I have seen those.
I've seen them too.
Yeah, but until Dr. Squatch pays for an ad, I'm not playing them here. But
is that how Sydney Sweeney spells her first name? She doesn't spell it like Sydney, Australia?
No, just like that, yeah.
Well, just remember, a lot of that, when you see that kind of stuff, it's their parents' fault.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like Sydney Poitiers, not Sydney, Australia.
I knew a guy whose name was D'Artagnan, and it was spelled Dart and Yawn, Y-O-N. Like it was D'Artagnan, and I was like, "What? Oh, I'm just gonna have to walk away because my mouth wants to say stuff." And I.
Yeah, like what happened to all the Darryls?
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dominic. I appreciate that very much. Brian Dillingham with the Dillinghamism. Thank you, sir. He says Cobra is militarizing porta potties now. Yes, we are going to get to that. Michael, have you seen what they showed for G.I. Joe Classified at all?
No, as a matter of fact, okay. I just got done today for the second time watching Tony's Dreadnoks video, which of course is about the vintage G.I. Joe Real American Hero line. I have not been in touch with the classified situation since the Rattler and Road Pig were announced. So if there's something new going on, you're going to have to fill me in.
We will. Yes.
Okay.
So the porta potty will make sense in a minute. Robert's Infinite Realms is here.
You weren't kidding.
Yeah. No.
Does
it come with a lawyer and a T-Rex? Like what?
Well, that was a full-on bathroom, though. That wasn't a porta potty.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
The thatch reed roof threw me off.
Right. Robert's Infinite Realms, thanks for the tater chat, man. He says, so an ecto of greed, delays in the classified Cobra armored outhouse, and Pedro Pascal footloose, and a big old robot we should have gotten 3 years ago. Yep. Thank you for the tater chat, Robert. Jeff W's here. What's up, Jeff? Thank you for the super chat. What's up, everyone? Hope you're all doing well. Glad I'm able to join live. It's been a minute. Hey, Tony, welcome back. Hello, Michael. Looking good, LP. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Jeff. And our friend M. Vargo's here. Thanks, Michael. I have nothing worthwhile to say, so here's $4.99. Thanks, Michael. I appreciate that, man. Drew G with the Tater Chat. Thank you, Drew. Ray, where are we going to get the money? Venkman, I don't know. You're not going to lose the house. Everybody has 3 mortgages nowadays.
For the first year alone, the interest comes to $95,000. You're not going to lose the house, Ray. Everybody has 3 mortgages.
At least someone here understands Ghostbusters references.
Yeah, I
You know what I think is more
Ryan's
appropriate.
lost.
You know what I think is more appropriate as a scene. Not that Drew G's comment isn't excellent for this scenario with this Ecto-1 though, is the scene where they come out of the ballroom with the ghost and start negotiating prices with the hotel manager. Because that's how I feel as the buyer. It's like $500. I had no idea it'd be so much. I won't pay it. And he's like, well, we can just FOMO it right back in there. And then all the collectors are like, no, it's that kind of situation.
Thank you, Drew. I appreciate that. And holy crap. I think this is, this must be party worthy, right? Do we? Am I the only one that? I think I am.
Yeah,
right?
you're the only one.
Do I need to go get some shades?
I mean, if you want, we are going to have a party thanks to Philip Story. Thank you so much, Philip, for that insane super chat. My God, man. Much appreciated, Philip. He says, to celebrate this momentous occasion, hail Tony and Michael. This will be a great show. Let's see. I can do skulls. I can do scrolling text.
I just don't believe you when you say you can actually see out of those things.
I can see. It's cool.
Can you see the text going by in reverse?
No.
Oh,
I can barely see the lights from inside.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah. There we go. We got hearts now. Thank you so much, Philip. Man, yeah, this is a momentous occasion. We got Tony and Michael, the 2 greatest toy YouTubers of all time.
Tony right now is giving me a run for my money with the great videos he's been putting out. That like I'm 2.5 weeks in on this Motu Origins update. I just want to step on my own balls, like just.
Well, the Dreadnoks video was really good. There was a couple in there I didn't even know existed. I obviously I haven't been a diehard G.I. Joe fan, but especially that, what was that road pig called? The bright orange road pig? What the hell was that?
That was just 1990s Hasbro, man.
Right. Yeah, good times.
It's like the side effects of the cocaine they took in the 80s didn't hit them until 5 years later.
It's funny, I had that Mohawk Zartan, but I don't remember that road pig at all.
The whole thing that they've done with even the standard road pig, I'm just going, wow, you guys are really chasing Valaverse hard now. Like you're really you're chasing that Valaverse aesthetic, but poorly. But that's my take on it.
You mean like all the tattoos?
Yeah, and it's like they're real American hero. They're not really being updated from the 80s. Like they're still in the 80s. So except for Gung Ho, Shipwreck, and a few of the other sailor guys in the Navy, there's very little reason for these guys to be running around all inked up. And with Road Pig, it just looks bizarre. It's just like, really? You look like Mel C from the Spice Girls, dude. Like,
I mean, the belly tattoo is what gets me. I'm gonna take that off. I got that acetone stuff to rub it off.
Yeah.
You can't even hardly read what it says. It says Dreadnok.
Does he have a tramp stamp at the back?
No, he has love handles. I think it's the first action figure I've had with love handles.
Well, the age of body positivity and inclusion.
Yep. Philip, thank you so much, man. That's very nice of you. All right, let's see here. Okay, let's take a break from that, from the super chats, and we'll get into it. So, New York Comic Con, they took the opportunity to debut the Plasma Series Ecto-1 for Haslab. This is the current Haslab campaign that is funding. 44 days to go. We're like almost one full day into it. Well, Yeah. Oh, yeah, because it was yesterday. So they start out at 45 days.
And they call it that the anniversary edition. Is it the anniversary of the movie or of the plasma series, or it's the anniversary of the original movie, isn't it?
Movie, yeah.
Yeah, 40 years, yeah.
84, yeah. So, but it comes with sticker packs, so you can do like Ghostbusters 1 Ecto-1 and then Ghostbusters 2 Ecto-1.
But talk about a really permanent choice you have to make. Like,
right.
if you're going to give that thing a double identity, then a few swappable parts might have been nice to really give people a dual display option. I know that's a tall order, but saying, well, if you sticker this as Ghostbusters 2, if you want to rip those off later, they're not going back on,
Right. Yep. I've seen some people say they're going to get 2 just for that. And I'm like, oh, wow. It must be
I
nice.
have no sympathy for anyone who wants a Ghostbusters 2 Ectomobile.
So this
I won't
is
throw shade at anyone backing the Haslab because they want the Ecto-1, but the Ecto-1A, no. Sorry, no sympathy.
I mean, we could just put out the disclaimer, right? Like, regardless of our opinions, I'll say I don't care if someone buys it or not. If they want it and they buy it, I don't care. So I'm not trying to convince anyone one way or the other. We're all adults. You guys make up your own mind, right?
Well, see, here's the thing, Jeremy Kerr. Yeah, $500, but people are already willing to spend $400, so they'd be willing to spend $500. I mean, these are Haslab buyers. They will take it in the back door. So, like right here, I'm looking at this $400 set, and I'm going. So I don't know much about the Ghostbusters 2 Ecto 1A details, but I guess Hasbro is saying that even the hubcaps were different between the two vehicles. Maybe they were. I'm looking at what looks like. Yeah. And also those 4 figures of them in the Ghostbusters 2 jumpsuits. There's always been this weird obsession by some people in the Ghostbusters community with those jumpsuits, even though they only really appear in the montage of Ghostbusters 2 where they're playing the song and they're busting ghosts all around New York. From what I recall, they're not really at the end of the movie. Everybody's back in their contractor beige coveralls. Mm-hmm. So it's just funny to me to see that still getting pushed out there. It's like the Ghostbusters 2 stuff. And it's like, hey.
I mean, so they have 2 different tiers here, similar to what they did with the Mos Eisley Cantina Haslab, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would think most people would just want the basic, because from what I've heard on the internet, the majority of fans don't really like Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah, the diehard fans, they admit that Ghostbusters 2 is inferior, but they swear up and down it's still the best Ghostbusters after the original, which is probably true. It has some good moments in it, but it's certainly not the masterpiece that the first movie was as far as comedy and timing and all that stuff. But it's got some good lines in it. So I think my favorite line from Ghostbusters 2 is where Sigourney Weaver's giving Peter Venkman crap about his laundry. And he's like, I don't have clean and dirty. I have many subtle levels. And then he's like, see this shirt? You just throw it out on the line for 5 minutes. Totally fine. Like, it's that kind of stuff that was like filling Ghostbusters 1. And it's not really in the second one. So,
yeah. Tony, what do you think? Ghostbusters 2?
Yeah, I have no interest. And you say people want the original. It's only good if you bought the figures 5 years ago. I mean, they're still pretty easy to get on eBay, but
for now, like if you're gonna back this, I would get on those original Plasma series. Now, Hasbro maybe they'll re-release them. They should, right?
Well, they need to, because 5 years ago those figures were pinned. There was a lot of other issues with them. Modern action figure collect like. Hasbro aren't putting out any other Haslabs, G.I. Joe, Marvel, otherwise, with pinned action figures. It's
Right.
We've moved on. It's 2024. So
yeah. I mean, I thought the Plasma series was done because nothing's come out in years. You know, they put out figures for the first movie, and then they did a wave of the kids from the newest one, or the
Afterlife or whatever.
Afterlife, yeah. So
see, that's my problem, is the time factor. Like, you've literally waited half a decade to bring this thing out to supplement the figures that. So I look at them and I go, so wait a second, you guys claim that 6 inch is king, but you won't support that line of figures and strike while the iron's hot, which means 5 years ago, the basic Ecto-1 at that scale would have gone for a much lower price point than it is post-inflation world. Like, and so now everybody's having to pay out a lot more to get a vehicle that should have come out when the figures were out, which,
right.
You know, we were just talking about earlier, how the 1/18 scale Ecto-1 has been out for a year, 2 years, whatever it is. And now they're finally doing these O-ring 3 3/4 inch Ghostbusters, but they've come out, 2 years? They're still not out yet, but they're going to be like 2 years after the 1/18 Ecto-1. It makes no sense how Hasbro shuffles these decks.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, did they like shelve this thing back then because the Plasma series wasn't doing well, and then they did the 2 role play items. They did the backpack, and then they did, what else did they do?
They did the backpack. They've done I think they did the PK in the trap or something like that.
Yeah, the PK in the trap was the Haslab from last year or the year before.
Right.
Like, they did the backpack, and then the Neutrona wand was something you had to buy separate on Pulse. It didn't come with the backpack. So yeah, they've been doing all of the role play stuff. I don't imagine they had plans to do something like this 4 or 5 years ago when the Plasma series was coming out. I think this they've seen this as a Haslab opportunity. The Ghostbusters Haslabs do well. I know we don't talk about them much on this channel because they're not. Previously, they've not been action figures; they've been role play items, which is probably why we haven't really talked about it on the 3POA. But all of their Haslab campaigns have been very successful, so they're going to take another bite of that apple.
No, I don't know if you guys remember, but the first time they put out a 1/18 Ecto-1, you know, Hasbro, was with that Series 1 Plasma series, which Plasma series is 112.
Yeah.
But along with it, they put out a 1/18 scale Ecto-1. It made no sense.
No sense.
And now that's ended. They're putting out O-rings, but they're giving us a 112 Ecto-1.
Uh-huh.
It's really weird timing.
I would love to be a fly on a wall in a Hasbro product decision-making meeting.
Yeah.
I would love to see who the goobers are in Rhode Island that are doing this stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so
the first 15 minutes of every meeting is taken up with pronouns.
Yeah.
Go one by one, introduce yourself. But yeah, so 325 with the car, Slimer, the library ghost, what you see here on the left-hand side. And then 400 to get the Ghostbuster, guys, the 4 of them with everything, and the swappable roof, swappable hubcaps and that. We got to talk about
figures. But the figures are Ghostbusters 2 figures.
Right.
So the upgrade is to make it your Ghostbusters 2 Ectomobile. But those figures are not. They're completely useless with the base offering, which that's what the vast majority of people want. They should have just the unlock tiers should have been updated Plasma series figures, without pin joints.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or it would have been a good opportunity to get the Ghostbuster 1 Ghostbusters into the just have 2 $400 sets, even though I think, boy, that's a lot of money. Get those into the, just have 2 $400 sets. You can pick which one you want.
Right.
Something like that. What they'll probably do is they will re-release the Plasma series Ghostbuster 1 Ghostbusters, because then it's $25 a piece. That's another $100.
Yeah, it's like what they did when I everybody was telling me when I talked about the Cantina And I said, all these figures that you really need for this cantina were sold many years ago. A lot of them as online exclusives and stuff, and now they're very expensive. And all these people were like, yeah, well, most of the people buying this already have all those figures. And then like 3 months ago, Hasbro was like, so we're bringing back out that Cantina band set again. And it's like, yeah, now tell me again how all those guys that bought that Cantina had the band. Tell me. Yeah. Tell me that. Say it to my face.
Well, a lot of the comments that I know we're going to get it. I'm jumping ahead to another topic, but the X-Men 97 Sentinel, a lot of the comments that I've been reading online from people are, they're really happy with this because they weren't into Marvel Legends at the time that the Haslab Sentinel came out. So it gives them an opportunity. People jump in and out of toy lines throughout their lives. Yeah. Whoever said that the people who want the Cantina already has all that stuff, I'm calling bullshit on that.
Yep.
Right. Okay, so this does have lights and sounds. I mean, so $325. It comes with 2 figures. I just want to start with that base model. $325. It comes with 2 figures. This is a large car. This is 22 and a half inches long. Mm-hmm. You know, it's nearly 2 feet long. It's very big. How do you guys feel about that price? I don't think those are $25 figures if they were to sell them at the store. Like Slimer seems like an accessory to another figure. Maybe that would be a 2-pack for like $30-$35 or something, right?
Right.
Is this a $300 car to you? It does have lights and sounds, and it's huge.
I have a real problem with Haslab pricing in general. Mm-hmm. Similarly, the video I'm working on right now, I talk about the crowdfunded Eternia that was $550. And I'm like, well, if you adjust everything up where Snake Mountain was $80 versus its original price of $39.99, then that Eternia should only be about $180, maybe a little more for materials and a little more for shipping, but it should be nowhere near $550. These companies are creating a crowdfund premium price gouge with these items. There's no way that they could sell that base level Ecto-1 for that price on a retail shelf.
No.
As exactly as it is. And they know that. So they're trying to hold it behind this exclusivity paywall. It's crazy.
I mean, there are vehicles that are huge on the toy aisle, Imaginext and other things like that have lights and sounds. They're massive. They have moving parts, RC. Mm-hmm. They don't come anywhere close to this price.
Right. And I don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, the stuff I'm talking about is also licensed. So DC, Jurassic World, stuff like that. I don't see the Ghostbusters license really justifying that. Now, granted, this is a lot of parts. It's a lot, it's all new tooling. It's a minimum 12,000 units, which is actually a lot. If Ramen Toy can make the Ramen Racer, which is comparable to this, lights and sounds, it's, it's like, I think it's 19 inches long. I think the early bird on that was $175. I don't know if 2 small figures really justify $325.
No, they don't, and I think that's engineered in because I think what they're doing is they're throwing a carrot on a stick in here, and they're gouging the price on the base model, and then they're saying, "Oh, but look, for only $75 more, you get 4 figures of all the main guys from Ghostbusters 2 and all their equipment." And 2 different potential versions of the Ecto. And you're like, now, wait a second. If you can provide all of that for a mere $75, why is the base model $325? That's crazy to me.
It's the price of admission. And those there was a video that they showed as well on the Hasbro Pulse YouTube channel where the figures, it was a digital render, but the figures are pinned. Like, that's not even new tooling for those 4 action figures. I don't think.
Yeah, they're just recolored versions of the original plasma figures.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right.
Like if you compare this to the Vanguard, with the Vanguard, I really feel like Bobby, did show the customer base what these things should realistically cost. I think there is a bit more in this base offering. You know, that yes, the vehicle does have lights and sounds. There's a bit more detail to the vehicle. But is it $140 more? No way in hell. And don't give me that whole licensing bullshit either, because the Vanguard was licensed.
Yeah,
Vanguard is
paying
licensed.
a royalty to Resvani for that as well.
Also, this does not include free shipping unless you're a Pulse Premium member, which is $50 a year.
Oh my God.
And
Pulse Premium, where they don't even give you first dibs on anything.
Right. So I don't care what any
tagline.
I don't care what anyone says. Oh, it's free shipping if you're Pulse Premium. Yeah, but that free shipping is $50. So it's $50. You have to spend that $50 to get free shipping. It's not free. It doesn't matter if you spread it out over all year and get other stuff. What if you don't? Because you're a Ghostbusters collector and there's no other Ghostbusters to buy, right? Plasma series is done. So throw $50 on top of that, or just pay the regular shipping, which I would imagine is $20 to $30 if you don't have premium.
Right.
And I'm just guessing there based on what something this size usually costs to ship. All right. So there is one tier, but it's not like a base unlock number. It's just an early bird unlock. And that before I get to that, here's the dimensions. 22.5 long, 8.25 wide, and basically 10 inches high.
But how deep is it?
Not deep enough.
It goes all the way.
Do you not remember from when they did the Dragonfly one? It was length, height, and depth.
Yeah.
With the dimensions they gave.
Yeah.
I don't know what the depth meant. How much Haslab customers will take it.
I mean, you look at the base. You look at the base offering without the Ghostbusters 2 stuff on it, and the original Ecto-1 is girthier. 8.25 compared to 8.1 width. I mean,
yeah. Mike, I mean, that's fine. That's fine if you like Pulse Premium. All I'm saying is that shipping on this toy is not free, because you have to spend the $50 to get free shipping. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, because again, if you are solely a Ghostbusters fan, there's not a lot of other Ghostbusters product you've been buying from Hasbro Pulse for the last year, so it is $50 shipping.
Yep.
Right.
Bit different if you're collecting Legends and Classified, and you're buying regularly, but there's not a lot around in the last 12 months for Ghostbusters fans.
Joel, that's a good comparison. The Ramen Racer Inferno is $270, so a lot less. And also, there's no way Ramen Toy is making 12,000 of the Ramen Racer Infernos. You could take you could take the Inferno, the Ramen Racer, the Ramen Razor, and the Hazard Lee. I bet all those combined don't touch 10,000 units. Just the Hazard Lee and the first Ramen Racer, I think they struggled to get to 2,100.
Yeah.
So when you have an MOQ that low, your costs are going to be much higher.
Yeah, and people's talking about, it's the licensing fee for Ghostbusters. It's like, Ghostbusters is not exactly a AAA grade licensing property. Like, they are, yes, you'll have to pay a fee, but I mean, do we really think that fee is going to constitute a full $200 extra per Ecto?
No,
I just can't get there.
From what I understand, most of these toy licenses are 10 to 15%. Disney might be higher.
Yeah,
but that's kind of what I've heard.
Yeah,
take that with a grain of salt. Someone asked, let's see, where is this? Yeah, Power Turtle Busters. It's the same car, right? How is it wider? I think it's just the ladder hanging off the side here on the base model.
Yeah,
it is, because that's why the heights are different as well.
Yeah, it's the Ghostbusters 1 with that ladder is ribbed for your pleasure.
Right. Okay, so there it is. They got some glamour shots here. I gotta say, as someone who's not a Ghostbusters fan, this does look really cool. It looks very nice. If I was a Ghostbusters fan, I would probably be in on this, and I'd probably be, through gritted teeth, click that pre-order button. But lights on the dash.
So how is the campaign going?
It is. Well, I checked earlier. It was 4,000 of the 12. So
it started what? A couple of days ago?
1 day ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll probably fund, because the Ghostbusters stuff always does, because the fans of that franchise, meaning the ride or die fans of that franchise, they're starving for stuff.
Yeah.
Mike Joseph says, just wait. In a couple of years, Hasbro will introduce the Indiana Jones Adventure Series Well of Souls playset. Haslab. Yeah.
And guess what? You'll watch me sit there and go, okay, I won't buy it.
Omar says, Todd McFarlane dropping Batmobiles like it's going out of style. All of them for under $100. Meanwhile, Hasbro's sticking it to the fans. Yeah. Okay, so I'm pretty sure, these have got to be repaints of the ones they've already released. So
somebody said their head sculpts are different, which may be true. I don't know.
Granted. So the early bird there is Tully. And he is pinned up. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean he's a re-release of the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Tully. But he probably is, maybe with a new head. But yeah, so if this funds within 2 weeks, then this is unlocked. Tully. So there's no if we hit 15,000, there's another unlock. There's nothing like that. This is the only one. So, there it is. Michael, how many are you getting?
0.
You got to get 2, right?
Nah, I'm getting 0. See, that's the thing about Hasbro is that, when they did the pre-order for the 4 O-Ring figures, I was like, okay, annoying, but pre-order. All right, so I pre-ordered those. I'm still waiting on them. And I found one of the boxed Ecto-1s in 118. I bought that because that wasn't a Haslab crowdfund either. So I've got it waiting here comfortably for the Ghostbusters to arrive, and I'll be happy with that. I'm good. I don't need anything else.
How about you, Tony?
I'm going to get one. And I'm going to get it shipped. I'm going to get it shipped to Michael's house so that he can hand deliver it and come and visit me in Australia.
There you go. Yeah.
And I'll do your deal, Michael. If you're going to do that, I'll get us some tickets to a Kylie Minogue concert.
Oh my God. It's just like, I mean, I am not untested in the ways of helping Haslab customers in Australia get items. That's a pretty sweet deal you've offered me, Tony. So I'll think about it.
That hat needs to travel, man.
That's for sure. Yeah. You're talking me into this. Dang it.
It's currently at 4,500 in the first day. So that's pretty good. I suspect it'll fund, in the next 44 days. We'll see about the Tully. We know it's it's a big rush at the beginning, a big rush at the end, and kind of drags in the middle. So
yeah.
Unless you're a Riva lightsaber or a Rancor.
Very true. All right.
I'm curious to know what the backer goal was for the backpack and the ghost trap, and I don't remember if they were. I want to say they weren't 12,000. They were more like 7 or 8.
Probably. Here's the thing: they've taken old Haslabs off of Pulse because I've tried to find the old stuff. Yeah, you used to be able to go and look at Galactus and the Sentinel, and those pages are gone. So let me see if I can. Find that. Yeah, it's not even showing. It's just showing the. Oh, I'm not sharing. Oh well. It's just showing the car. It's not showing the the backpack or the what's the thing they suck ghosts with? What's that called?
The trap.
The neutrona wand.
You got your neutrona wand that captures them in the lasso, and then you've got the trap which sucks them in.
Oh, here it is. Ghostbusters Plasma Series. Well, that's the neutrino wand. That's not a Haslab.
No.
Yeah, that was a Pulse exclusive. So
yeah. So you bought the backpack but didn't have the wand with it. And they're like, so you better go find yourself one of those. And it's like, wow, man.
And the purchasing limits on the two were different. Like you could buy 4 backpacks but only 3 wands or something ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I found it. It was 8,000.
Yeah.
And it was $400.
Which again,
got nearly 20,000 backers.
Yeah, because for a proton pack, $400 or whatever it was extremely tempting, because most Ghostbusters backpacks, proton packs, they're thousands of dollars to custom build. The only letdown on this one was it was from Afterlife. It wasn't from the original movie, which was the big whiff. If this had been one of the packs from the original movie, it would have probably gotten 40,000 backers.
FFP, no, they released an Ecto-1 a few years ago in 118 as well. That's incorrect. Yeah. That was not a 112 car. It was 118. It might have been even maybe a bit smaller. It might have been like a 124.
The 118 scale Ecto-1 was re-released recently because of the announcement of the O-ring figures, but it has been out a while.
Yeah, it came out, I believe, in that first series with the 112 figures.
There was also that one that was for the figures that were more cartoony.
There was that one too.
Afterlife, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. I got Big Bad pulled up. Go. This is the one that was released. I don't know.
Well, you looking for the scale?
I'm looking for the old one because it was 118 as well. I remember because we talked about it on the show, not on 3POA, on Infinity Equation. And Bobby was like, why in the hell are they releasing a small Ecto-1, a 118 Ecto-1, when the figures are 112? It makes no sense.
And then when they released or announced the O-ring figures, that Ecto-1 had already been clearanced out and gone. So they had to re-release it again briefly. It was all a mess. It's typical Hasbro shenanigans.
Yeah.
Drew G here says it says 118 on the box, but it's actually a little smaller.
Oh, great. That's great.
There you go.
Looks like I'll be dremeling into that thing after the figures get here.
Clyde Dashing, thanks for the super chat, man. I appreciate that. Cato's Collection. Thank you, Cato, very much. He says, popping in to say hi, silently slips back away. Thank you, Cato. Rockman Chris, thanks for the super chat. I was fortunate enough to get my hands on the Blitzway 84 Ecto-1 and 4-pack. Easy pass on the Haslab for me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Blitzway did that Voltron. I didn't know they did an Ecto-1. Wow.
I didn't either. I was not aware of that. So
I bet that thing rocks.
I'll look it up right now and see.
Yeah, if it's as good as their Voltron.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ruckerman Chris. HGC with 5 3POA podcast gifted memberships. Thank you very much, HGC. Very nice of you. We got Zakanen here. Zakanen with the Tater Chat. Thank you, Zakanen. Rumbles into the stream, his wife allowing him to. Well, good. I tell her I said thanks. Not Top Goon. Thanks for the super chat. In my opinion, I like the classified reveals, especially the firefighter. They did their homework with accuracy and equipment. We haven't had a 6-inch firefighter figure since 03. Well, we're going to get into that. Thank you for the super chat. And then
this thing was 1/6 scale.
Oh, huge.
Yeah. And this was massive.
Yeah, I've just had, I think an audience member's just been sending me some DMs
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the figures look like Hot Toys figures, and he's Blitzway teased a reissue of this for $1,500, and the figures are another $900.
Dang. I mean, if you're a Ghostbusters fan, forget the Haslab and go get yourself a set of those. Really, just stamp it and mail it. Like,
yep.
Let's see here. FP says the deluxe Haslab is a hell of a deal. That's 7 figures, which is $175. Slimer is a figure and will cost the same. I don't think it should, nor do I think that Ghost Lady, the librarian. Although, I mean, Hasbro does do that now. You know, they're putting out a Grogu or a Yoda for full price. Well, I think Grogus are still accessories, but they're charging you $25 for a Yoda, and they're charging you $25 for an R2. And it used to be not that long ago that like BB-8 was included with Rey. Like those smaller figures were accessories. Right. Not anymore. But yeah, $25 for Slimer and that Ghost Librarian, in my opinion, is not a hell of a deal at all.
Right. Yep.
And
agreed.
Those figures, since they are, did we conclude that they were repaints?
They are repaints with apparently new heads.
Yeah.
So the bodies are just flat out repaints,
Yeah.
And then the heads are new.
Yeah, I'm not thinking it's a hell of a deal at all. Stickers are vinyl, so you can reuse them.
What's this? Most collectors don't care about pins in real life. FFP, in real life, do you actually care about the burden of evidence or providing proof? A lot of collectors do care about action figures having pins or not.
Yeah. Yes, they do. Especially when they know it can be done. When you get a cleaner sculpt, a cleaner action figure.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure there's some outliers. Anthony's Customs is an outlier. He doesn't mind pins because I forget what his reasoning was. Maybe customizing or something. But
they never used to bother me. But now I know the technology that's available and what can be achieved. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go back.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
If Valaverse came out with an Action Force figure with pins, it gets slaughtered.
Yeah, it's like
most collectors in real life don't care. Yeah,
it's like it's like Super 7 putting out 5 POA GI Joes. It's like, why are you going backwards? That doesn't make sense. They're finally, now they're doing O-rings, okay, but I don't understand why they would do GI Joes, which were known for their articulation in 5 POA. Made no sense.
Well, for the longest time, Brian Flynn said he didn't like breaking up the line of the sculpt with added articulation. And then finally, from what we heard last year, there was basically an internal coup d'etat with the board, and they were like, "We're gonna take the wheel. Grandpa, give us the keys, and you can stay the face of the company, but we're gonna start trying to give the fans, the collectors, the buyers, more of what they want." So.
Yep, double jointed turtles. They're coming.
Yay!
Yep. Roll Keeper. Thank you, Roll Keeper, for the tater chat. You only have to buy one of each. Whew. I mean, if you got it.
You don't have to buy any.
Yeah.
I mean, $800 to get two of the. I mean, obviously, you could just get the $325, but basically it comes out to $800 plus shipping. To me, like, that's a really, really nice leather jacket and hat. Like, that's like bespoke stuff.
Yeah.
But again, we all have different priorities.
Right.
I'm like,
Oh, wow, Tony, you're right. We do have 500 watching. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Donkey punch that like button right now. Thanks. Let's see here. We got Flamingo Sauce. Thanks for the super chat. I love busting and go. I love Ghostbusting all over. Effing never mind. I'ma just go smash the like button. Well, thank you, Flamingo Sauce. Thanks for the super chat, man. I almost understood that, dude.
I kind of got it.
Yeah. Hey, World Made of Cardboard's here. Thanks, John. He says Ecto-1 doesn't have a top, a middle, and a bottom. Oh, wait. You can spend more to get 2 tops. Great seeing you guys again. Good seeing you too, man. Yeah, you do have 2 tops on this one, Tony. There's 2 tops, 1 middle, and 1 bottom.
A bottom, a middle, and 2 tops. That should be the Haslab tagline.
That's right. Justin, thanks for gifting that 3 POA podcast membership. Appreciate you. Our buddy Bushman's here. Thanks for the tater chat. Wedding anniversary for me. Catch you on the replay. All right, man. Have a good one.
Enjoy your anniversary.
Candyman 5000 with a tater chat. I'm still working. We'll catch you on the replay. Have a great show, gentlemen. Thank you, Candyman 5000. Figure Fight Club with the tater chat. 3-month-old potato. Thank you, sir. I was just on his podcast, which is called Action Figure Alliance. That was last Wednesday. And that was a fun show. We had a good time. Let's see here. Curb Stomp is here. Curb Stomp, thanks for the tater chat. Hi, Ryan, Tony, and Michael tuning in from work and hiding in a closet. I hope no one saw me come in here. Have a good show, guys. You got to love it. Hiding from your boss.
I often watch Ryan's midweek show sitting on the toilet. I don't hide in the closet. When I'm at work, that is.
That's a good spot for it.
And
take
then your AirPods into the toilet with you.
Yeah. Joe Beds, thanks for the super chat. Evening, gents. If you break it down, 6 figures plus Slimer and accessories separately, the Ecto-1 Ghostbusters 2 Deluxe is valued at $220. Pretty good, in my opinion. I mean,
that's
great.
Only if you get the upgrade kit, which if you don't want the Ghostbusters 2, it doesn't count. That's only when you go for the $400 option. If you just want the original Ghostbusters Ecto-1, that maths doesn't work. And I'm not real good at math.
I just don't like that Slimer and the half a figure Ghost Librarian being considered full figures at $25. I just hate that that's being normalized.
Nicotronus, bustin' does feel good, but keep in mind in this case who's doing the bustin'. And it's Hasbro all over your face.
Keeping the streak alive of not backing Haslabs is the best feeling. I bet. Yeah. I backed a few. Well, what did I back? Only Marvel Legends. Right? Yeah, Sentinel, Galactus, and Giant Man. I didn't do the others. Yeah.
You don't have to when you get free his tanks.
Hey, thank you, Jeff W. Shout out to him. I appreciate that. All right. Are we all caught up? Yes, we are. Okay, so let's get speaking of Sentinels. Another Sentinel's coming our way, and this is not small. This is not small. This is 22.5 inches based on the X-Men 97 animated series. Did either of you guys watch it?
X-Men 97? I saw like the first episode. It wasn't that I didn't want to watch the rest of it. I just got caught up watching other stuff. I meant to go back and finish it. But remember, I don't have a Disney Plus account, so it takes me twice as long to see things. But I heard good things about it. I also heard some people were turned off by it, but I was actually surprised by the number of people who were giving it positive reviews. So,
yeah, you weren't a fan of X-Men, the animated series, were you?
Oh, no. It wasn't that I wasn't a fan of the show. I wasn't a fan of Fox Kids. Okay. Because Fox Kids, it was so annoying. I caught the original episode where Jubilee is trying to like get away and it's her origin story and whatever. And I'm like, wow, this is a good show. So I tuned in the next Saturday and they played the same episode again. Oh. And I was like, what? If it was hard for me in high school to get a free Saturday to wake up that early and do that because, you're 15, whatever, and I was like, well, I really wanted to watch it because my brother was collecting the Jim Lee comics at the time. And I was like, but if they're going to keep pulling these shenanigans, so I've only seen bits and pieces of the show. I'd love to sit down and watch the whole thing one day. It looked like it was really good, but Fox Kids just ruined it.
Yeah, you really only need the first 3 seasons. Season 4 and 5 are pretty rough, especially 5.
Right.
That's when their budget was really cut. But the best stories are in season 1 through 3. And I loved X-Men 97. I thought it was a very worthy follow-up. And it is a loose follow-up,
Right.
But the original series, each episode was a loose follow-up of what came before, so it is what it is. But yeah,
Sure.
no, I love the series, and I love that Marvel Legends has something from the MCU, which I consider X-Men 97 in the MCU because kind of everything is now that it's a multiverse.
Yep.
So I like that they have something good in the MCU that they could lean into, like X-Men 97. And this is a worthy interpretation of the Sentinel from the cartoon.
Yeah.
Tony, I didn't even ask you, did you watch it?
No, because I never watched the original X-Men cartoon. I was in my teens when that came out, and
right.
Yeah, it just kind of flew right by me. I wasn't even really aware of it back then. So I've heard a lot of good things about X-Men 97. I do hold a lot of stock in the commentary from Jeff Hicks at World Class Bullshitters, and he spoke really well about X-Men 97. But yeah, because I never watched the cartoon in the 90s, not for me. But I do have some stuff to say about this figure.
Great. George Aiken, that is a good question. Does the Sentinel have ratchet legs? It damn well better.
Joe Bits has a super chat here real quick, if you can pull that up.
Sure, yeah. Thanks, Joe Bits. He says, I meant the second Ecto. Ghostbusters 2 hits me in the feels hard. So much love for that 1991 blockbuster. I still have the VHS tape. Was that 1991?
Not trying to be the actually guy. Just want to let you know, Joe, as you being a huge fan of Ghostbusters 2, came out in the summer of '89. So it was the same summer as Batman, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and Star Trek V, and License to Kill, and I believe was that the same year as Lethal Weapon 2?
And UHF. No, I don't know.
And UHF, yeah.
He also says VHS. He probably had that VHS in 91 because if you remember, VHS took like a year to come out or more after the theatrical release. Now it's like you get it on digital
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm not trying to be an actually guy. Like, clearly the guy loves the movie, so I was just throwing out a little factoid. I wasn't trying to dunk on him or anything.
Right. Yeah, thanks for that super chat, man. Oh, and then he comes up with another one. Thanks, dude. He says, thanks for correcting.
Wasn't trying to be corrective, just trying to arm you with some information. I love that you love that movie.
All right. Thank you, Joe Bits. All right. So there it is. The Sentinel. And what you see is what you get. You get a swappable face plate, dome piece, chest reactor, and some blast effects. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty simple. There is no electronics in this. 22.2 inches. Good.
You say it's pretty simple. It comes with more than Giant Man did.
Yeah.
Giant Man came with 2 face plates. And what else? I think that's it, yeah.
And antennas.
And swappable antennas, yeah. Yeah, because that last tier wasn't unlocked, which was the scroll head. That's the one I would have preferred to have. The scroll head over the zombie head.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Don't really care about the zombie head. The scroll head would have been really cool. But yeah, 22.2 inches, 80 points of articulation. So it's not, it's got good articulation. And then power effects accessories. Those are just blast effects. Just call them blast effects, guys.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to make it sound better than it is. And it's $175. Open pre-order. Ships October 2025, so a year from now. And you don't pay until it ships. So all you're doing is you're just saying, I want one. And then
you're getting in the queue for one. You're reserving your slot for one. That's what you're doing.
Right.
Which is what I said back in 2018. I'm like, why can't they just do that with every big announced item? Like, why do they have to do this crowdfunding crap? Like,
yeah. It started with Dragon Man. It's like, oh, this is what we've been talking about for several years. Michael, you were probably the first, I think.
Yeah.
It's an open pre-order.
Yep.
If they say, okay, retail, Target and Walmart don't want this big stuff. Okay, you have Hasbro Pulse. Just put it up for pre-order. And now they're doing it several years later.
have they said whether this is going to go to retail or is this just a Pulse exclusive or?
It's a Pulse exclusive.
Yep.
Yeah. So you have, 45 days to put your order in, and then you will be charged when it ships. So nothing up front, which is nice. Yeah. There it is. And you can see the hands are fully articulated. So you have, just like the Haslab Sentinel, you can pose those hands around a figure like that. And here's the comparison. So the Haslab was 26.3 inches tall. So it's 4 inches taller. It came with it actually came with 4 heads. Yeah, the Tri-Sentinel head, the battle damaged head, the Master Mold head, and then the regular Sentinel head, and 2 figures for $350. So the X-Men 97 Sentinel is half the price of this thing. This is much bigger, electronics, comes with a lot more.
I mean, much bigger, okay, yeah, side by side. Yeah, true.
I mean, I see a lot of people like, hey, I'm in on this even though they have the Haslab, they're like, I'm in on an X-Men 97 Sentinel because I got that Master Mold head.
Right.
Pop that on the Haslab. You got Master Mold, and then you've got your Sentinel.
Right.
What do you think? And by the way, this other little Sentinel here, I say little, it's still almost 16 inches tall. That was 125, and it came with a Wolverine figure, a 6-inch Wolverine. So I actually think the pricing on the X-Men 97 Sentinel is in line with their previous offerings, especially since the other two came out 4 or 5 years ago. I think
it's amazing how much they'll charge for an extra 4 inches.
Tony, let's have your thoughts.
What? And so Giant Man sits right in between these. He's like 24 inches.
He's 24, yeah, 2 feet.
Does it not prove to you that he did not need to be crowdfunded?
Yeah, I said that at the time. Absolutely.
So when I saw the price of this, I was like $175. I'm going to bring up the Vanguard again. It's $10 difference, right? You can pretty much say they're roughly the same price. Because Vanguard's a free shipping, I believe. Are they still free shipping? Or was that only on pre-order?
Bobby's said free shipping on the Vanguard until
they're the same. They're the same price.
Right.
I feel like I'm getting a lot more for my money with the Vanguard than I am with this figure and a couple of blast effects.
Okay.
I mean, if this is only being sold on Hasbro Pulse, then the likelihood that it will get discounted at some point is pretty low. Although they do run outlet clearance sales at times for items. So I'll just say this, because it's not a Haslab and because it's something that would look really good with my arcade X-Men, if it goes on sale, I might pick it up.
Yeah, there you go. What price point are you in at?
Oh, I don't know. Anything that just allows me to tell Hasbro I didn't pay full price for it.
Okay.
I'll just burn them. I'll be like, I got it for $2 left. No, I'm kidding. Maybe something like if they knocked, $50 off of it or something, that might entice me. So, but I know people like they won't sell it. It's made to order. Right. But they always have to make extras for returns, defective product. They have to meet certain manufacturing minimums with their factories. Let's use our brains here, people.
Now, you see, this is something new. This is not Haslab. So have they said that there won't be extra in stock later?
That'd be foolish. That'd be foolish, given that there's going to be some that are defective and are going to require an exchange.
Sure. I mean, let's say 20,000 people order this thing, so they make 20,000 of them. Or you wouldn't make 20,000. You'd want to make 21,000.
Right.
It seems, it's interesting. If you're in the chat and so I didn't watch any videos of this thing. I just kind of skimmed through the pictures and the facts. But if they said anything about these will not be in stock, it's only made to order, let me know.
Well, that's like Suka is saying, Pulse exclusives have shown up at discount stores later, which we all know to be true. And Mario's
they weren't made to order exclusives, but you're right, they were Pulse exclusives.
Right. And Mario's like, why would it go on sale? It's Hasbro. Have you seen their distribution problems, Mario? Everything eventually goes on sale with them.
They've had San Diego Comic-Con exclusives at Ollie's.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mrs. LP says, I wouldn't lick anything at Ollie's. What are you talking about? What the hell? I don't know what that means. All right. So there's so Tony, how many are you ordering?
Yeah, no, none. I don't need anything X-Men 97.
Right.
They said made to order. Yeah, Ken's Toys. You go ahead and believe everything Hasbro says. I'll wait.
Yeah, I know it's made to order, but I wonder if they will put up extra. They put up extra Haslabs for sale in stock at one point.
Yeah,
they were clearing out the warehouse, and they had a few. They had a handful of extra Haslabs. Unicron and a few other things, and they put them up on Hasbro Pulse. They didn't go on sale. They sold out pretty quickly, but
you have extras from something that had a specific, manufacturing number. And it's because they have to make a certain number to account for returns, defective product, etc. When I did the Mattel Matty Collector Voltron, they made it clear we're only going to have so many replacements of each lion. So if you have a problem, you better figure it out quick because we might not be able to get you another lion.
Yeah. So unfortunately, Ken, I don't have any Ollies here, but I get regular text messages from my buddy Scott Hughes and Earl and others that live on the East Coast that go to Ollie's all the time. And yeah, that MODOK, San Diego Comic-Con MODOK, has been sitting there for $30. And I think that was close to $100 when it was on Pulse and at San Diego Comic-Con. Now it's
Tony.
$30.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony, you want to tell Mario why I come off as so smug on this issue?
Where's Mario?
Because you were right all along.
Smog.
Yeah.
You
can't
spell
believing everything that Hasbro says, Hasbro are the same company that tell their customers that G.I. Joes come with gummy weapons because of child safety reasons, and yet the same company makes accessories for their Star Wars figures, which have the same safety standard, as in they're both for 4+, and they use a completely different type of plastic, which isn't gummy. They don't tell the truth.
Yep.
Right. Greg Harris says you have until 11/26/24 to order the Sentinel, just like Dragoman. That is correct. But still, I got to read the fine print on this. Unless they say it will not be in stock later, there's nothing to say that it won't. If they have extras after fulfilling all the pre-orders, they're not just going to put them in the warehouse forever. They're not going to make the exact amount that was ordered. Like Michael said, you got to have extra. You have to have extra. Defective units and lost in the mail units and all that. So,
yeah, and it doesn't mean they're going to have many. It could be like Matty Collector, where they've only got an annoyingly few, and if you're lucky, you're not stuck with something broken. Or they do the thing which they've done with Haslabs before, where they've said, "Oh, we're sorry, we don't have anything left to swap it out for, but we will give you a refund, maybe." And you're like, "But I wanted the thing." And they're like, "Well, sorry, you can have your broken one." It's like, wah wah.
I wish they would have ordered extra knees for the Haslab Sentinel. That would have been nice.
Yeah, exactly right.
JLS Comics.
Don't worry, because we had some great YouTubers that came in and told us all it required was a little screwdriver to fix that problem right up. Yeah, right.
Michael, you're going to cause me to have a seizure. Okay. My eyes are already getting weird. Okay. JLS Comics says, less smug, more smaug. Are you guarding your hoard of gold, Michael?
I wish I had a hoard of gold. I wish I did, but
you're not Scrooge McDucking it.
No, as a matter of fact, he should have been dead the first time he tried to dive into that big pile of coins, because that would have just destroyed him. But I've also learned recently, since it got brought up, dragon hoards. Somebody actually did the economic impact of finding a dragon hoard in a Dungeons and Dragons or fantasy economy. And they said that it would be guaranteed to break the economy for not just the town, but the entire region. Like, it would totally destroy the balance of the economy. Fun fake facts.
Interesting. Master Son 42 is here. He says, I am glad you're doing this show because I had questions about this Sentinel. I'm sure you three will cover it. Well, we just did. We just finished. So if you just got here, you'll have to see the rest on the replay. But yeah, we covered it. Me, I'm actually really happy with the 175. I mean, initially I thought it was going to be 150, and then I saw 175. I'm like, but then it's like, okay, it's half the price of the Haslab. You get a lot more at the Haslab, but it's also 4 years later, and the price of milk has gone from like $2 to $6, and so I'm like, okay, I'm going to get a couple of these things. So I did pre-order, and I don't have to worry about it until next year. So I have 12 months to sell a kidney.
Oh man.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm really quickly multitasking here and responding to a comment on my Dreadnoks video. So I try to change tack, but I talk about going to Singapore in 1988, right? And someone's just commented on the video saying that they went to that Toys R Us store in 2005 and was so disappointed. That was a completely different location and store in 1998. And I know because I've been back to Singapore since, and I've been to the new one, which is like it's a small place. The one I went to in 1998 was 3 stories high. It was like a traditional old 1980s Toys R Us. The place was massive.
Wow.
Yeah, and JLS Comics. That was a sly plug, Tony. Well done.
You know, there's still Toys R Us's in Canada, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, I want to go to Canada, go to Toys R Us." As someone who lives close to Canada,
Toys R Us in Thailand.
Sure, but as someone who lives close to Canada and has been up there a few times to go to Toys R Us, it is not the same. It looks the same, but the prices on those shelves are insane.
Yep,
and it's just. The magic is gone, and we're not getting it back.
And right. I don't know if it's the same in Canada, but like the Toys R Us stores that you have in Thailand are like inside a big shopping mall, and it's just like one small store. Whereas in the 1980s, Toys R Us, it was like a standalone building. It was you went there, it wasn't part of another mall with all this other crap around you, and a shoe shop next door and a phone shop across the street. Yeah.
In Canada, within driving distance of me, there's like 3, and there used to be 5. One of them is like in a mall, but it's a full size store, and then the other 2 are buildings. Yeah, it's not in a mall; it's the full building. Thomas Goes Nostalgic says the Engine of Vengeance. This is great, by the way. Thanks for the super chat. The Engine of Vengeance had to fail. Giant Man had to squeak by for them to finally just sell to us. I want to hope this is Hasbro finally listening. Same.
I actually forgot. That Engine of Vengeance was such a massive fail that I forgot it even existed the other day. And I was sitting there talking to somebody about how, there was rumors that Marvel wasn't going to do, Hasbro's Marvel team wasn't going to do Haslabs anymore. And I went, that's odd because they're like, aside from Ghostbusters, they're the only ones that didn't have a failed Haslab. And then my friend was like, you mean except for the Ghost Rider car? And I went, ooh, yeah, that was so bad I forgot all about it. Like, I was just like, oh, yeah, that was pretty terrible.
Yeah, there's people in Hasbro that really dislike 3POA because of that. And I don't think that, I don't know how you feel, Tony. Do you think the 3POA had that big of an impact on the Haslab campaign?
Yes, I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it's has had as big of an impact on Haslab overall as what Retroblasting has, but
right.
We've gotten to a point where we've got over 500 people watching.
Yeah.
There are channels around way bigger than us that don't get this kind of live following to tune in to these kinds of topics. It's because we're telling the truth and people listen.
I got blamed, even though I don't think it was my fault. All right. I just run a little puppet show. All right. People love to say that when they don't like a YouTube channel, they'll in there are moments where they'll say that YouTube channel's voice is irrelevant until something goes south for them. And then they'll blame you for it as if you have omniscient power and you destroyed it. They flip-flop, right? And I was blamed by a lot of people for the Rancor Haslab failure. And I'm like, I made one video like 2 or 3 days before the end of the campaign. Otherwise, I never talked about it. Like, you know, they acted like I had gone on this campaign for like, you know, weeks or months, just indexing on it. I was like, no.
If anyone went on a campaign, it was me. I think I did 2 standalone videos and we did a 3 POA. That was in the real early days of the 3 POA.
Yep.
But specifically with the Engine of Vengeance campaign, you had that episode where I just kind of sat there for 2 hours and kept my mouth shut while Bobby broke down all of the parts in the Sentinel. And I saw other YouTubers posting comments on social media while the show was live, telling everyone to go over and watch this show because of Bobby's breakdown. Yeah, I'm going to take the credit for it, or let Bobby take the credit for it.
You guys really did, like, it was the whole, you know, Simpsons meme of stop, he's already dead. You know, like, you guys really just eviscerated the lack of value in that thing. Like, you just,
all the credit goes to Bobby on that one. I mean, he really broke
but you
it
gave
down.
him, you grew the platform that allowed the signal to broadcast to enough people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I like that they're listening, you know, and I think the Dragon Man and this X-Men 97 Sentinel may be related to something bigger happening than just just a response to the failure of the Engine of Vengeance and Giant Man squeaking by. I think it may have to do with them letting go of the Disney license.
Right.
And that was actually what our topic was going to be tonight with Bobby, and then he couldn't be here. So we're going to save that for another week, and I don't want to go too far into that, but there is some stuff to be said about that because overall it's just odd. There was unsubstantiated but reliable info coming out of Hasbro that the Haslab was going to be Fin Fang Foom. There was even hints dropped by members of the Marvel team.
Are you talking about at the time of the Engine of Vengeance?
No, earlier this year. In the lead up to San Diego Comic-Con when they announced Dragon Man. This open pre-order thing, not a Haslab. And so, well, you know, I'm going to save that for the show that we'll do with Bobby, hopefully next week or the weekend after. Well, it won't be the weekend after that because we'll be at Rhode Island Comic-Con, so maybe we can do another show next weekend. I'll see. But yeah, thanks, Thomas. Goes Nostalgic. Appreciate that super chat. All right. Let me go here. Get that. Patrick, thank you for the super chat. Toys R Us looks the same as it used to be in the U.S. Yeah, it does largely look the same. But you are right, it isn't the same. Prices are high, and it's a ghost town. I've noticed the same thing. I went into one. Where were we? It was a toy. It was in Vancouver. One of the Vancouver Toys R Us's, and just the shelves were just. It looked like a Ross. You guys have been into Ross. Well, Michael, you've been into Ross.
Oh yeah.
It's like the employees come in with the T-shirt cannon and just fire their products at the shelves on every aisle, right?
Yeah,
That's how they stock shelves.
Looks like a Soviet grocery store in the late 80s.
Right. That's what this Toys R Us looked like. And half the shelves were bare. The other half just looked like they threw the toys on the shelf. It was just it was very sad, man. It's like going into a Chuck E. Cheese and seeing like the broken down animatronics just sitting there covered in dust. It's like, it used to be great. You know?
It's like 5, identical 7-year-old Marvel Legends figures, one Lando hanging there, a beat up Despicable Me fart gun, and that's about it. Like, it's just awful.
Exactly.
I never come into Ross, so I don't know him well enough.
You guys need Ross in Australia, let me tell you. RossCon is going on right now, where they're getting classified figures for $8. They're getting another dump of Hasbro product at Ross right now. So maybe I'll go tomorrow. All right.
Australia's version of that is called Red Dot, the Red Dot discount store. And I can remember way back in the early days of the 6-inch Black Series line, maybe 6 to 8 months after they first came out, you would get all the, all the orange card first wave Black Series. You could get them in Red Dot for like a quarter of the original retail price.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, guys, let's cue the music. We got Blake Tarpley here. Blake Tarpley with the $50 super chat. Michael on the 1s and 2s spinning. Thank you, Michael. Blake, you're insane. Thank you for the massive super chat. Hearts just for you, buddy. He says, cue the effing saxophone, bro. Oh, you want the saxophone? I can't play that for too long. YouTube gets mad. The George Michael estate does not appreciate that one bit, but I can do that. Real quick. There you go, Blake Tarpley. There's your saxophone. And that's about it.
It's over.
Yeah. I'm telling you, the George Michael's estate doesn't play. You play that thing for more than like 3-4 seconds, and they are on your ass.
Yeah.
So
I played.
He wasn't even the one playing the saxophone.
Right.
There was one video where I had to be like surgical with that because I started it with his song Monkey, and I could only use like one phrasing of it. I was, that his handlers are really brutal.
Blake, thank you very much. Next time, use that $50 super chat to say more. I mean, you could probably type an entire novel with a super chat that big. Yeah. Thanks, dude. I appreciate you, Blake. All right. So moving on to the listen, there was 2 other brands that contributed to the Hasbro panel at New York Comic Con. I don't care about the Star Wars one. It was bad. It was mostly about the new Disney Plus show with a few other things sprinkled in.
Is there another Disney Plus show coming after The Acolyte?
It's called Skeleton Crew, and it looks kind of like Goonies in space.
Is that the one with Jude Law?
Yes.
Oh, that man is crestfallen.
Yeah. Well, have you seen the trailer? I saw snippets of the trailer, and it looks like it's taking place on an Earth neighborhood. Like they're zooming into this planet, and then it looks like suburban Earth, but it's in Star Wars. I'm like,
yeah, they just put a few little like trim pieces on like steps on the stoop and stuff, and suddenly it's going to remind me then of Star Trek Picard, where they're like, oh, it's the future, and it's literally just an abandoned convention center with glass door handles and stuff, and they're like, it's the future because we've got like a little keypad that appears on the glass, and you're like,
right,
this is cheap AF. Like, yeah.
That show's ratings are going to fall harder than a One Direction singer. Too soon?
No, that's fine. That's that's what people tune into the 3POA for.
I was already going to hell. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
I mean, can you believe
the way you laughed at that, Michael? You've got a first class ticket.
But just a quick aside on this Disney Plus thing. Can you believe we're getting a Stranger Things Star Wars show, a Goonies Star Wars show, before we're getting like a 6-episode miniseries of Darth Vader hunting down Jedi after Order 66?
See,
Why doesn't that exist?
That would have been the show to do. That show, and then a show during the Civil War about rebel pilots, calling it, Rogue Squadron or whatever. Those two shows would have been the ones to start with right after after Disney got the license. That would have made all the sense in the world. And no, they can't give into their worst instincts on the Darth Vader one. You would have had a firm hand to say, you do understand that you can't have Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda in this movie, fighting Darth Vader. And they'd be like, really? And we'd be like, oh, we're screwed.
But you could have Jedi of the Week that he's hunting down and, boss battle at the end.
Yes.
You know who's going to win, but in Rogue One, you knew Darth Vader was going to win, but that 30 seconds, 1 minute was badass. It was great.
Right.
Yeah. Why doesn't that exist? But we got Skeleton Crew and Acolyte. Okay. Whatever. Yeah, and the fact that there's no Rogue Squadron series is a sin.
Oh, it's a sin. It's an absolute sin. It defies all common sense. It's because they don't know how to make compelling Star Wars. They just don't.
Nope.
John Garrett here saying they were going to do a Cara Dune show. Look, the way that panned out with Gina Carano, that's what's wrong.
Yeah.
At Disney.
And their motion to dismiss was denied. So go, Gina.
Well, and also, I've said it before, it's nothing new, but Mandalorian was just their attempt to try and finally get that Boba Fett movie made without having to pay Lucas as many royalties. I don't think the Mandalorian show is really all that great. I think the side characters that were original, because I look at Mandalorian, the Din Djarin guy, I look at him as just royalty-free Boba Fett.
Yes.
He's Kroger shredded wheat compared to frosted mini wheats. So he's not that interesting. Same with Baby Yoda. I don't find Grogu all that interesting. But the Rangers of the New Republic that were all introduced, who were original characters, were interesting. But the Mandalorian show itself, it really felt like it was filmed in the bubble that it was filmed in. Everybody just felt like they were playing pretend, and it just didn't hit me. It didn't hit me.
Can you pull up Anthony's Customs comment?
Yeah, Anthony's Customs here, another great YouTuber. He says, imagine if there were a bunch of popular Star Wars books they could base shows on. Yeah. Like Rogue Squadron, the X-Wing series, Those would have been
unfortunately, they've fucked up that opportunity by bringing in Thrawn and doing a really bad job of it. And what did Thrawn come into? The Ahsoka series?
Yeah, and it was so bad.
And didn't he come into Rebels as well?
Yeah, Rebels. I can forgive Rebels because it's a children's cartoon. Thrawn just wasn't much of a threat. He was kind of just Cobra Commander every week, or he was just he was your cartoon villain. He can't win, and Thrawn wins. Yeah, Thrawn is a strategist. He knows what's coming.
I will say this though, for the Disney Plus era, I sat down in the last 2 weeks and rewatched The Phantom Menace for the first time in a very long time. That movie now seems so much better than what it was in 1999.
I agree.
It's done a lot of good for that original prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
I think it's the best prequel. And a lot of people are like, oh, really? It's 9-year-old Anakin and Jar Jar. And I'm like, I think it's still, because it's far enough away from the original trilogy time-wise, its sins can be forgiven because it's trying to do something a little bit more bigger in scope. And then the other two just kind of go up their own ass.
I think Qui-Gon Jinn is fantastic. It's got one of the best lightsaber battles. Yeah.
We got a tater chat here from Mobile Recluse. Thanks, man. He says, Michael, eagerly waiting for your Andor video.
Oh, yeah. My Andor video is actually going to be an Andor / Rogue One retrospective look at. It's mainly about Rogue One, but I bought Andor on 4K because I don't have a Disney Plus account. I watched all of it. That was one I wanted to really see. And I was glad they brought it out on disc. And I enjoyed it. So it will be brought into my video about Rogue One, which I'm scripting right now. And fun fact for everybody, Ryan just brought up the famous Vader scene at the end of Rogue One. That was not Tony Gilroy coming in to save the day. He was doing the reshoots. Gareth Edwards, the original director, was on the set for all the reshoots, playing ball with Disney and not being a Josh Trank. And apparently it was one of his crew guys that floated the idea of, wouldn't it be cool to see Vader tear things up at the end? And so Gareth ran off and got it signed off through Disney, and they filmed that. So Gareth Edwards gets the credit for the favorite scene for a lot of people in the film, not Tony Gilroy. But that's just the tip of the iceberg for my video coming soon. So
yeah, Andor is one I need to revisit, because I struggled to get through the first half of the season, and then the last few episodes were actually I feel when it really kicked in, and I really enjoyed the end of the season. You know how with the prison escape and that.
Right. Oh, guys, I never said I liked the Vader scene at the end. I'm telling you what everybody else says. They credit that movie because of that scene. Now, I don't hate necessarily it. I'm kind of ambivalent, but you'll find out when you see the video.
All right. Well, that was a fun aside talking about Star Wars and Lucasfilm for a minute. But back to New York Comic-Con and G.I. Joe. Now, the first slide here is interesting, and it might speak to our future topic with Bobby that I already mentioned. But the first slide that they showed at New York Comic-Con for G.I. Joe was this. It says, due to unexpected shifts in production, many of our 2025 G.I. Joe product shipments will be delayed. We're working hard to minimize the delay, and we'll keep you updated. We appreciate the support of the G.I. Joe fan community.
There's a typo there. There should be no F in the word shifts.
Where? Shit. Yeah, so there's been speculation, and I don't know, speculation that this is due to them ramping up their licensed product to get that out before, pump out as much as they can before they no longer have it.
Does it not feel like all of these brands, though, are significantly dialing back? That I look back to this time 12 months ago, and we're obviously going to go through the reveals in a moment, but what's being shown is a significantly smaller amount of new products than what would get revealed at something like a New York Comic-Con last year or a San Diego Comic-Con. Same across the board with Marvel, Star Wars. Everything seems to be dialing down.
It may be. They did just have PulseCon and now New York Comic-Con, and then in a couple weeks they have Hasbro 1027 or something like that, which is another Hasbro.
That's next week, ain't it?
Yeah. So maybe that could be it. It's just the speculation is that they're, like I said, focusing on their licensed product before they lose the license, and so they had to pull back some G.I. Joe stuff out of the schedule. However, I'm not even certain that Joe's and Legends and Black Series are all made at the same factory. If I remember right, I don't think they are. But like I said, that's a discussion to have when Bobby's here, because he knows a lot more than we do. But yeah, so that's something to, 2025, there's going to be some delays with G.I. Joe Classified. Now, the first part was render reveals. By the way, I just want to credit Toy Arc. Thanks for these pictures. For these two. So the first one up is Footloose. There's your... he's original 13, right?
No, he's original Real American Hero, but he came out in like 85. Yeah.
85 when they introduced the ball neck joint.
I was way off.
He's also the only Eagle Scout in G.I. Joe.
Really?
Yep. Check out the file card. My dad wouldn't let it go when I was a kid.
What do you guys think?
So the rifle, pistol, and knife are all reuse from the Mutton Junkyard. That rifle is one of the most horrendously gummy weapon accessories I've received with the G.I. Joe Classified figure. It is really fucking bad. The figure, it looks all right. I don't think the rocket launcher, I don't think that's reused from Bazooka, which is good because Bazooka and Footloose both came out in 85, and they both came with rocket launchers in 85, but they weren't the same. They were different. So I like the fact that they've done them different. I don't feel the need for the shark teeth and the eye painted onto it. Like, I don't know what is the point of that. I suppose it was that or another tattoo.
Yeah.
It's a camouflage soldier with gummy weapons that we've had before.
Is that the back of his hair? Looks like he's wearing earrings.
I think it's the back of his hair.
All right, thank goodness. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, these are just render reveals, and this is the one render that they posted, so there's no, reverse side shots or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, there's Footloose. I know I've seen people like wanting this character, in the comments before. So there he is. There's Footloose.
I'm just glad they're not giving his weapon a sling, because the original Footloose, both of his weapons had slings, and it was impossible to get that M16 in his hand without breaking the sling.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Well, you don't risk that with classified because they're all made of rubber. So
yeah. The barrel will be bending right back into his face, but at least it didn't break.
Yeah, here's the Cobra porta potty.
Nice.
The commode. Yeah.
I like the way you said that.
This is I forget what did they call this thing? This is
they called
modular.
This defense perimeter, when perimeter defense would have made a lot more fucking sense to swap those words around. This is the Cobra defense perimeter.
I would love to see Destro handing out ice cream cones to people, inside it. Like, they walk up to it, he hands them a Mr. Whippy, But no, it does look like a porta potty.
Seriously, like, how does this not come with a small toilet roll?
Yeah, exactly.
Real quick, before we get too far ahead, I want to get this super chat from Headcanon. Thank you, Headcanon. He says, and thank you. He says, they paid Timothy Zahn to write new novels to put Thrawn into the Disney canon and then completely ignored it when it came to putting it on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're a production house without a plan.
Yep.
They twist in the wind. But yeah, this thing right here, I mean, like, look, I like the fact that they're trying to get back to some of the smaller G.I. Joe play sets that really filled out, as Tony has chronicled so well on Analog Toys, those vintage Real American Hero smaller play sets really help fill out the world of G.I. Joe in an affordable way. This one is just rather odd. I can hear Destro screaming inside as to why they didn't budget for something better than single ply. Like
it's very much like because they have been teasing for a while that they were going to dip their toe into the world of mini play sets. Like, if you're going to dip your toe in, this needed to be just a little bit bigger. Don't pack it in with a repainted figure like you've done. Give us something slightly bigger. Like the Cobra Surveillance Port or the Cobra Bunker. There was more to them back in the 80s than that.
And there it is, the Trench Viper, which I got to say, this paint scheme is way cooler than the Alley Viper. Like, I actually like this figure. The Alley Viper I passed on because I'm not into, neon orange. What do you think? Trench Viper, Tony?
Look, I'm not homophobic in any way, but does the name Trench Viper not sound really gay?
Is it? I don't know. Trench Viper? Oh, Trouser Viper. Trouser Snake.
Well, trench in Australia is slang for your ass crack.
I didn't know that. Now I do.
Trench Viper.
I've never liked digital camo. I'm not a big digital camo guy.
Okay.
So when I know that it's what actual military units use today and all that kind of stuff. I blame people like Mark Zuckerberg for that because now everything has to be gamified. But
George Aiken, have a good night, man.
Thank you. George.
But yeah, I don't think, to me, this is not the most engaging troop builder I've seen before.
Ass crack Viper sounds better, says Nicotronis. Real quick, I don't know if Talib 1980 is being serious or not, but if either way, it's funny. Gridiron Studios is working on a shitter with TP kit. If that's true, that's hilarious.
Buy anything.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And then
all Gridiron do is just make shit. If the classified line ended tomorrow, Gridiron will go out of business.
Yeah, they'd be struggling.
All they do is gank other people's shit.
What is what are those two stanchions in the front? Because they look like they need the seat belt material between them so Cobra can line up for Space Mountain.
I have no idea what that is. Dang it. So I had to rush through this slideshow and I forgot to add in a picture. Let me find it.
There is a Dio image somewhere.
Yes, I have it. I just got to pull it up.
I didn't mean to cause trouble.
No, you're not. It's fine.
No, because I kind of want to figure. It's like you look at the ladder. One ladder's got pegs on the top, so it looks like the other ladder pegs into the top of it. But then the ladder's too high. Like, where does it go?
Yeah,
are those legs stands for this thing to sit up high, or I don't know.
So this playset is modular, so they got them stacked too high here in this picture. I wonder if it looks like these are hinges, and maybe it can fold out and you can make like a wall out of it.
So Cobra's budget is so bad they bought modular storage pods to use as defensive positions.
Yeah.
That tracks.
That diorama shot there looks like queuing up for the Portaloos at an outdoor rave.
Yeah, or Renaissance fair.
Did you say rave? Did you say rave, Tony?
Oh, God.
Okay.
Just every time I see the way they're intended to have like one dude in there, I'm just, that song, I'm living in a box. I'm living in a cardboard box. I'm living in a box. Like, just who would want that duty on the duty roster? Like, you're going to be in the box this week. And it's like, damn it. There's no chance when the mauler shows up that thing's going to hold up. You might as well just dig a foxhole behind it and trick everybody that there's someone in there. That right there is begging to take a hit. That's just telling them where you are.
John, let's see. Let me get to the bottom of my chat here. John says, it's going so fast. Stackable porta potties. I do not want to be using the one on the bottom. Damn right.
Yeah, because when Road Pig had that, out of date, chicken, and he's up there above you, just ripping farts. It's like
he got himself a chili dog and
yeah.
Cobra Security at Burning Man. There we go.
Thank you for saying that, Rondo. That's what I was just thinking. I'm like, this feels like Burning Man stuff.
Yeah.
So I will admit, when I first saw these images, I was like, "Ooh, sandbags!" And I am occasionally one of those idiot collectors who would buy a set like this just to take the sandbags out. Like I did. I bought the Classified Series dock because I wanted the stretcher.
Yeah.
It turned out the stretcher is a piece of shit that folds up on itself. But for those sandbags, I'm wondering if they're like fully rendered on both sides, or whether like one side is flat, designed to be pushed up against it, like it was in the diorama image. Like the original. Was it Outpost Defender?
Yeah, it's got like a molded piece and then separate bags that you can kind of.
Yeah. But the molded pieces, like, you can't remove them and sit them on their own because the back was designed to go up against a plastic version of a wooden wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Joel says the Cobra glory hole. Got it right there in the middle. Jeff Morris says this play set will be $55 with the figure. I would rather get this for only $25 with no figure.
Yeah.
My thing is, I like this idea of doing mini play sets. I'm totally for the idea. This one is just really uninteresting. It's really not moving the needle, you know?
No.
So now that we've understood the whole stackable part of it, why does this come with 2 ladders? When you need to buy a second one to get the 2 ladders to work properly.
Sure. And
So
you have 4 ladders.
It's so you can play shits and ladders.
Yo, you can take a shit off a ladder while on the ladder.
More effective than going in the box.
You never see a guy taking a shit while running at full speed. It's George Carlin.
Yeah.
Which was actually proven wrong by the CKY guys. They did it. KBA, thanks for the super chat. He says, trench vipers like to hang out around the toilets, I guess. Yeah. Yep.
That's why they've always got trench foot.
Yeah. Thanks, KBA. And then Thomas goes nostalgic. Thank you. He says, to Tony's point, if they're going to dip their toe, don't do something anyone can 3D print. And exactly. It's like I said, I like the idea of these mini play sets. This one is just, it's not moving the needle. It's not that interesting. I feel like I've seen this before on Etsy.
Yes.
You know, so.
Somebody's like, what are we going to do for the next play set? And somebody just draws a 3D oblong. And then they're like, Yeah. I do rack my brain for what kind of mini playset I would like. Now, you can stack these, but it doesn't look like a guard tower. I like the idea of them doing something like the Savage Strike headquarters. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
Well, just the G.I. Joe Watchtower or Checkpoint Alpha is the one that I really want. Checkpoint Alpha.
Yep.
I've seen people say they'd like to see the Bivouac move into the classified series. I'm not a big fan of that one. That one's, again, doesn't move my needle. But
that one was very like Vietnam inspired. Like it was, I thought as fragile as it is now, the little Cobra bunker, that would be cool to see in 6-inch scale because it had a unique look to it and it was used on the show a lot. That would be a fun thing, but this is just, it feels like a layup.
Yeah. Scott Hughes says there was a vendor at Joe Fest a couple years ago making 112 Cobra bunkers. Yep.
Cool.
All right. I got that. Yeah, I got it all. We're all caught up on super chats. Look, it's Chad. It's Chad says if Hasbro cared about world building with classified, which they never did, they'd have done the battlefield accessories like the Watchtower years ago.
Yep.
Yeah, a Watchtower would be cool, man. All right, moving on. This is part of their 60th anniversary line, I guess, again. Or
they're still trying this? They're still trying to do this?
They're doing a firefighter. Sorry, go ahead.
They're calling it the Legacy Collection now because the 60th anniversary obviously
is over.
It's only 1 year.
Yeah.
So this is what it's going to morph into now. So these are nameless generic G.I. Joes, supposedly inspired by the 1960s ones, even though they fucked up all 4 of the ones they did for the 60th anniversary. This is
Shipwreck, Footloose, Beachhead, Dave. Like, I love
Dave.
That.
Hi, Dave. Hey, guys, it's Dave. He's here to fight the fire. Now, as a Marvel Legends guy and as someone who's building a 1/12 scale city diorama that I'm going to populate my Marvel Legends in an epic battle with, I like the idea of getting a couple firefighters in there,
Yeah, I got no problem with the concept for this. It's just a matter of the execution, because the one from before, I watched Tony's excellent video breakdown of those, everybody. They were a little rough. This looks cool, though.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why he's got Ripper's accessory, but all right.
Yeah.
Oh, the Jaws of Life.
Oh, that's why. Okay. All right. That makes sense now.
That is Snowjob's body.
It sure does look like it. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Snowjob's body. So bit of reuse there. That I was wondering how they were ever going to reuse that buck, but yeah.
Scott, you said, so how many axes can one guy use? Got 2 hatchets and a full-size axe. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that Lara Croft can use 2 at the same time. So this guy can go from saving lives to taking lives.
Yeah.
Blake says
3
nobody's
axes, 2 hammers, and a crowbar.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. Blake says nobody's fooling me. That firefighter is a dreadnought in disguise. Snowjob has McFarlane shoulders. Yeah, it's like the ball peg, right, with the floating cap piece inside.
The shoulders, I think he's talking about so when you articulate the actual figure, you can get his arms to there. They can't get any closer. He literally cannot hold his rifle with 2 hands, and he comes with a sniper rifle.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable.
So the firefighter, and then the mass device. I don't know. You guys explain this to me as someone who doesn't know.
This is the original plot device of the first animated miniseries for G.I. Joe. And they've already made this before for the 25th anniversary line. The whole Cobra super weapon that's going to use the 3 elements to destroy. It makes cities and stuff disappear and people, and it can transport them, right into Cobra territory and stuff like that. It's the ultimate 80s cartoon MacGuffin for bad guys. And if they're going to start doing this in classified scale, I mean, at least they're doing something with the legacy of Real American Hero. I hope it's not rinky-dink undersized, but I also hope it's not $450. So
yeah. All right. So the first one they showed in this mass device subline, or I don't know, is Snake Eyes with a friggin' polar bear. And I got to tell you, I don't care one bit about that Snake Eyes, but the polar bear, as a weirdo, I'm in for that. I want a polar bear. Yeah. I love the polar bear.
This is the episode of the miniseries where Snake Eyes has found, the irradiated capsule with one of the elements in it, and he has to close a glass door, pull like a Wrath of Khan with Scarlet and Snowjob because he's irradiated like Spock was, and that's why his hands are glowing red. And they have to leave him behind, and he makes his way through the snow, and I think he dodges a polar bear at one point, and then he meets Timber and an old man in a cabin in the woods, and that guy heals him up, and then he gets back to the Joes. And that's how this is from the original miniseries, because in the animated show for that miniseries, Snake Eyes was in his original costume, but he didn't have gloves. They gave him bare hands for some reason.
Why does he have pink hands here?
Because his hands get irradiated by that thing and they glow red.
That's what that is. Okay. Yeah. So get to your Hobby Lobby quick, because the 1/12 scale Coke bottles are going to skyrocket in price very soon when this comes out. I already have a bunch of 1/12 scale Coke bottles to go with my polar bear. Man, does that marketing not exist in Australia because you guys don't have snow, or what?
What, the Coke ads for the polar bear? No, we got those as well.
Okay. That was my stupid joke.
Yeah. I got it. I enjoyed it.
It was horrible.
I wouldn't call it dad grade.
Yeah. But yeah, polar bear. I want the polar bear. If anyone wants a blue Snake Eyes, let me know. Maybe I'll give it away on the show.
It's a kind of small polar bear.
It does. That's the one thing it does look very small. I mean, polar bears are huge, and they'd probably be closer to his shoulder and not, on all fours.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be above his head on all fours. They're fucking enormous polar bears.
You think they're 6 feet tall on all fours?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I know on hind legs they're probably 10 feet. They're big animals. We have them at the zoo here. I've seen them in person. They're swimming around. They stink. They smell bad. Bears smell bad, Tony. You guys have bears besides koala in Australia? Or just koala? They smell good.
Bears. We have drop bears. You cover yourself in Vegemite, and the smell keeps them away.
So you have like power bottoms and bears in Australia. Okay. That was also a joke. HGC.
I do want an action figure of a combat wombat, but
that would be awesome.
I keep telling Bobby if he ever does the Desert Rat version 2, he's got to come with the combat wombat.
Yes. I'll be there on the first day of that pre-order.
You ever take the short boat ride to Tasmania?
No, I've never been to Tasmania.
They have an animal there called the Tasmanian devil.
They used to.
Oh, are they gone
now?
Is it really?
It's been extinct for 100 years.
No, it's on Looney Tunes.
Oh, no. That's the Tasmanian tiger. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. HGC, thanks for the super chat. He says, Glow Hands, Snake Eyes, and Cocaine Bear. They got me. Yes, I still haven't seen that stupid movie. I got to see Cocaine Bear. Thank you, HGC. And then Joe Bits with another one. Thanks, Joe Bits. He says, classified legacy collection, Walmart and Target employees. I never saw the diver or the infantry guy, or what's the new one that's out, the skydiver, whatever his name is. I've never seen.
He's a pilot.
I've never seen any of those at Target or Walmart ever.
So they sold him because they had to do the 60th anniversary. They had to do the soldier, sailor, pilot, and marine. So they called him a pilot, but then made him look like a Navy SEAL halo jumper.
They're gonna do a Tinker
don't
Tailor.
look like that.
Tinker Tailor next. Soldier Spy. Another bad joke. Thanks, Joe Bits. And then they're gonna retro card Rock and Roll, and he's gonna not have the tattoos this time.
Yeah, so they took the tattoo off because the tattoo was shit anyway.
Was it?
Because it went all down his arm, but they didn't put it on the elbow, so it had a big piece missing out of it.
Come on, tell me this is badass. Look at that. He's got the rock and roll hand.
That was so fucking dumb.
I love it. I'm not gonna lie. I love it. But you got to keep in mind, I'm not your old school Joe fan, so I'm not, I see a cool soldier with rock and roll hand. And I grew up in the 90s. I went through a Limp Bizkit phase. It's okay. Rock and roll. It's cool. How is he in comparison to the the original 13 rock and roll? Pretty.
I mean, he's a lot closer. The helmet's still too modern, but he's a lot closer as far as just his general profile and everything. Like, he's got the rolled up sleeves, and he's got the bandoliers, and he's got the blonde beard, and I mean, he's a lot more rock and roll 6-inch than the other one was.
Mm-hmm.
The biker gang member, you mean?
Yeah, the biker gang member.
The original one looked more like a dreadnought than rock and roll.
Oh, that's a good idea. I could put that one with the Dreadnoks and then get this guy. I love the look of this figure. It just looks. Is it? I think it is the Outback upper body, isn't it? Yeah. So, I like that.
Probably.
Yeah. I'm digging this one. I'll probably get this. Maybe do a head swap on the other one. All right, and then Dr. Mindbender. Now, you call the other figure gay looking. This looks like he's straight out of a 1970s disco. Look at this guy.
This guy looks like he stepped out of a Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS movie.
Yeah.
Like, he looks like the dungeon manager,
I mean, accurate to the original toy. It's just not. It's not for me. I think it's silly, but
if Colonel Klink was into sadomasochism, it would be Dr. Mindbender.
He should come with a whip, a cat of nine tails.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're retro carding.
You should be proud of your body, rock and roll. I will show you how to find your sexual center.
Welcome to Sprockets.
Welcome to my pleasure dungeon.
Mrs. LP says, wondering where his monkeys are for his circus. Oh my God. Thomas Frost says, wait, is that a PTP action figure? That's funny.
I didn't understand that reference.
Yeah, if you know, you know. He's a douchebag guy on the internet. Joe Bits, thanks for another super chat, man. He says, "Hey."
I would argue that Dr. Mindbender is the word omnisexual or pansexual. Like I think I think he would get with anything. I don't think dressed down like that. Like he's not. That doesn't to me say, homosexual. That says I'm open to all comers. Like I'll consider anything.
Polar bears, wombats,
polar bears. Yeah, like this guy's clearly done it all, and it's affected him. Like he's not the same man he was from birth.
He's not turning anyone down. Thank you, Joe Bits. So Mindbender. Now, the people that got the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive one, I've seen many pictures online. The dye from that soft goods jacket is leaking onto the plastic, and it's causing, which if you've ever cut the soft goods off of a Mezco, because they're stitched into their soft goods, you cut them off.
Right.
Their underbodies are all covered in the dye.
I talked about that in my Spice Girls video. The Victoria Beckham doll's little black dress, because of the black color, it ruins the figure even if you've never taken it out of the box. Yeah. Like it just turns it black, like in these big bruisey spots. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yep. So that's something to be cognizant of. Maybe throw a little dull coat on it before you buy it, take that jacket off, throw some dull coat on it. Just give it a good spray and then put the jacket back on. That way, at least you can just rub. It won't, because what happens is that dye leaches into the plastic because plastic is porous.
Yep.
So it gets into the plastic, so you can't always just wipe it off if it goes in deep. So if it,
Yep.
Yeah.
He looks like he gets drum lessons from Shardamus.
Oh, it looks like he plays a keytar. Is really what he Dr. Mindbender is definitely a keytar player. Brian Dillingham, thank you,
he does
sir.
live streams from his van.
Windowless van. Brian Dillingham says all he needs is Crocmaster's whip. Thank you, Brian. And then Thomas Goes Nostalgic. Thank you for another super chat. He says, not a whip, Ryan. He should come with whippets.
The dogies.
Yes. Yep.
These are my whippets. These are my vippets. They are named Reginald and Hans.
Hans. Robert Diaz, thanks for this super chat. He says, Dr. Mindbender works out of the Blue Oyster Bar. Thank you, Robert.
Andrew Taylor. They're all right there. Like, I'm very proud of that video I did. I don't own just one. I have the whole gang.
Oh, the Spice Girls.
Yeah. I put them back in the boxes, of course, and now they just live there.
I bet those are those pretty pricey nowadays?
Not well. Maybe the ginger and the Union Jack dress, but the rest of them not so much. So
here's a hot tip. If they make One Direction dolls, now's the time to buy.
All right. They're going to retro card the.
Yeah, move on, Ryan. Move on.
They're going to retro card the Cobra Viper. Yeah.
So did they ever? They retro carded the basic Cobra Trooper too, right?
Yeah, it's coming out now. People are getting that in hands now.
Oh, so okay.
Now they're doing the Viper. With the rolled up sleeves and the more traditional colors.
And ganking Cobra Commander's helmet configuration.
Yes, and it looks fine. This one actually comes with extra hands. Look at that: fists, trigger fingers, a gripping hand, and a pointing finger.
A pointy finger.
I mean, that's
what we in the Indiana Jones world call the Ford finger.
Yep, yellow Harrison Ford. I mean, that's cool because one thing that the classified line lacks is extra hands.
Yep.
So we're getting more of that, which is good. And
that's the one thing it lacks. It doesn't lack.
Well, it lacks. I said if there's one thing. It lacks sturdy weapons. Yeah. And then they went to some name-only reveals with whatever this is. I don't know what that is.
Darklon. Like, who is asking for Darklon?
I don't know
Maybe
what
it's
it
a
is.
generational thing because this was like after my time on G.I. Joe, but
well,
yeah.
Listen, I'm the weirdo that's asking for Bushido, Night Creeper leader, you know, because I loved that stuff as a kid. I had those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I also had Ninja Force Zartan with the Mohawk. So,
have they done Ice Cream Soldier yet in Classifieds?
No, not yet.
Okay. Because if he doesn't come with a Mr. Whippy, I'm going to be really mad.
For the porta potty?
Yeah.
And then Crystal Ball. They're going to do Crystal Ball.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Owen King. You know what would be great, Dad? What's that, son? Tell your friends at Hasbro that Cobra needs a magician. Owen. And then we got sneak peek out of it too, because they just couldn't leave well enough alone.
Flash Johnson says, and Hasbro starts to scrape the bottom of the barrel with Darklon and Crystal Ball.
Well, Crystal Ball and Dr. Mindbender being in the same announcement package is a little. It's just like, wow, you're bringing out all the weirdo characters. I'm surprised Raptor isn't in here.
Didn't they already do him? They just did him, right?
Did they? They've already
He's
done
the guy
Raptor?
with the wings, or is that?
Yeah. He's the guy who looks like a bird.
Yeah. I saw him on the shelf the other day.
He'll be there for a while.
I left him there. I was like, I mean,
yeah,
not for me.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy's a hypnotist, really?
He's a hypnotist, but that's not the way that Stephen King's son sold it to Stephen King's Hasbro friends at the time. He said he wished that Cobra had a magician. So they came up with this guy.
So Dr. Mindbender slips you a roofie, and this guy hypnotizes you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Und then they both will find your Yowie hole.
Yowie hole?
Yeah. It's an anime term from Japan.
Oh.
I haven't looked into it too closely, but it was used as a big punchline joke in an anime I really like, and I then made the mistake of looking it up, and I was like, oh, okay.
What's it called? A Yowie hole?
Yowie hole. Yeah.
So when I go to Japan in January, I shouldn't be asking around for where to find the Yowie hole.
No, don't.
So I'm not going to apologize for once again shamelessly plugging my recent Dreadnoks video, but I've had more than one person in the comment section go like, hey, you know the you forgot comments, Michael? You forgot. I got a you forgot Crystal Ball. I'm like, he wasn't a Dreadnok, dumbass.
Who are those two guys at the end? It was the guy with the green in his hair. What was that? The last
Thrasher. He's the driver of the Thunder Machine.
Okay, so that's what. So this next one is a tease for a vehicle. I've seen some people say it's the Thunder Machine or the Awe Striker.
So that's what I've seen as well. So a lot of people going Awe Striker. I'm telling you, this is the Thunder Machine because Lenny has a hard-on for the Dreadnoks.
I have your answer, Tony. The Yowie hole is a concept in yaoi, a genre of fictional media depicting homosexual relations between men aimed at a female audience that supposes the existence of a male sexual organ that is neither a, male organ nor a arsehole.
So this is from Japanese anime?
Yeah, it's actually a romanticized genre concept in fictional media, so it might not be limited to anime.
What is going on over there?
So it's Japanese for trench viper.
Oh
wow! And it does sound very romantic.
Oh boy! All right, that is everything. That is everything from New York Comic Con, besides Star Wars, and maybe there was Transformers. I don't care to cover those two things. Sorry. Tony, I don't think you want to cover Transformers.
No.
Yeah. Mike Joseph says, isn't the rumor $150 price point Snowcat and Thunder Machine for next year? Yeah, I think Chad put that out there, but I thought it was $175. If maybe it was $150.
I was just about to say, if they do a Snowcat and Thunder Machine, and they have to come with figures because they both had dedicated drivers back in the day. Right? You can't do Snowcat without Frostbite. You can't do Thunder Machine without Thrasher. If they do those vehicles at $150 with a driver, then you are definitely getting ripped off at $175 for a Sentinel.
Thunder. I guess the Thunder Machine is pretty big, and the Snowcat, yeah. Robert Diaz, thanks for the super chat. Tony wants a Chutney Ferret and Trench Viper 2-pack.
Well, wouldn't that just be a ferret in brown? Wouldn't that just be a brown 4-wheeler ferret? Like, that'd just be the ferret, but brown.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought Chutney Ferret meant something else.
Well, I'm going to have to make that custom now. Dash out and buy me a classified ferret.
Oh, God. All right. Tony, Michael, thanks so much, man. This was a really fun show. I hope you guys had fun here.
I did.
Tonight.
Yeah.
Good.
Thanks to Michael.
I'm so glad you guys had me on because I got 2, stabs in the arm yesterday, including that flu vaccine. And so today, of course, I woke up feeling like hey, I'll reference the Ghostbusters conversation. I feel like the floor of a taxi cab. I think I'm actually breaking a fever right now, like a mild one from the vaccination. So the fact that you had me on and got my mind off of it for a few hours is really nice. So thanks.
Great. Yeah, you're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we can do it again soon. And channel members, stay tuned for the after show. I feel like there's something I need to announce. Oh, yes. Tomorrow I'll be on with It's Chad. I believe at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Yes. Right, Chad? You're here. 4 p.m., right? 7 p.m. Eastern. Going to be hanging out with Chad on his channel. There'll be a lot of weird stuff happening there, a lot of hijinks. And then Wednesday, I'm going to have Rocco the Great on. And then next week, maybe another 3 POA next week if Tony's down and if we can get Bobby on to talk about the topic we had to skip tonight. There it is. Thanks, Chad. Yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Me and Chad hanging out. All right. That's all I got. Check out Tony's Dreadnok video. Michael, what's your next video coming up?
My next video coming up is Masters of the Universe Origins, the final word, or I believe I'm calling it How the Mighty Hath Faltered. Okay. And then after that, I'm working on Rogue One, a love-hate relationship. So these are two big videos that are coming out back to back, I hope. There'll be some filler videos in between, but the two big ones are this one that I'm actively in the edit on right now, and then the Rogue One is in the script phase. I've released some exclusive clips of the Motu one to Patreon, and everybody seemed to really enjoy what I was doing, so I have high hopes for it. So,
all right, cool. Links to both channels in the description below, but I'm sure everyone already subscribes that's watching this. Now, before we end, Greg, what is this? Chad, what do you want LP on the channel for? Razz him for ignoring your info on that vehicle. I didn't. I gave him credit. What are you talking about? I gave him credit. He put he dropped the rumor of the Snowcat and the Thunder Machine for $175. Right? Did I forget something? Or is Greg just being a butthole?
You definitely mentioned Chad, yep.
Okay, channel members, stay tuned for the after show coming up in a little bit. And yeah, see you guys, see everyone else tomorrow on Chad's channel, and then right here on Wednesday. Good night, everybody.
Good night.